Welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you're a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacosio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Child Care Director's Chair.
Happy Tuesday, guys. It's your girl, Erica, here with the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I can't believe we're finally here. We are here. It's the week. It is conference week. The crowd goes wild. Anyway, I am tired as all get out. I had fought through a cold for a whole month and a half, traveled to 2 other states, and presented at 2 other conferences and made it back, did school full-time, ran 3 centers, and guess what? Still going to bring the best conference to you. I cannot wait to hang out. Now, the one thing I want to say is the amount of love that me and my team have gotten in the last 2 weeks is like, I don't even know, just crazy. Thank you so much to our participants. Thank you so much and congratulations to our nominees at the award ceremony that's going to happen on Saturday night from 7 to 9:30. I'm so excited for them. The top 5 nominees in each category are they're extraordinary in all their own rights. And mostly, what I loved is the diversity. I just love the diversity in this whole conference. I would say that's probably like I'm going to say the number 2 thing. If I had to pick a word, number 1 is going to be feel. Number 2 is diversity. You are going to feel this conference. It's not just an experience. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your heart, your bones, your spirit. You're going to feel it. Trust me. I don't know. I'm rambling on. I am so excited. So if you are joining us at the conference, man, I cannot wait to connect with you. And speaking of love, I do got to say this. Not only have the participants been wildly amazing, but so have our sponsors. And so I want to take a minute to really highlight another incredible conference sponsor, and that is our friends over at Motion New England. Last year, she participated in the conference as a participant. She just came to really level up her leadership skills, and she did that. And this year is a completely different chapter for her. She's now returning as a program owner, a vendor, bringing her own developed movement program to the early childhood space. So I cannot wait for that. She's also speaking at the Pachacucha. So that transition alone speaks volumes, because it's not just about growth, but action. So if you're attending the conference, you can find her at table 27 in the discovery deck. Motion New England focuses on structured movement experiences for young children, dance, yoga, coordination activities, and gross motor development into intentional learning. But what makes her work stand out even more is it's not just activity, but it's purposeful movement tied directly to child development, helping children with body confidence, body awareness, listening skills, and regulation through structured physical engagement. So if you're looking for something that goes beyond the free play movement in your program and something more intentional, especially around developmental support, she is absolutely worth connecting with. Again, find her table 27. All right, I'll get into it, guys. I know you don't have a whole lot of time. So welcome back to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. Today, we are continuing the conversation that sits at the core of leadership and early childhood education. And it's this: what does it actually take to help a team recover from past workplace stress and rebuild trust in leadership? And if you didn't listen to Monday's episode, hop on over there first, because this is really just piggybacking on that. I want to be really clear from the beginning. Recovery is not a moment. It's not a conversation, and it's definitely not a policy change. Recovery is something that happens slowly through repeated experiences that begin to rewrite what work feels like for someone. Feels. There's that word again. What does it feel like? All right. So what recovery actually looks like in real life. Well, let's make this really practical for you. When someone has experienced stress, or unsafe leadership in the past, they don't walk into that new job fully reset. They're going to walk in with patterns like waiting for criticism before it comes, over explaining simple decisions, or apologizing unnecessarily. My God, I have worked with so many staff that are saying sorry for I don't even know what. But feeling nervous when leadership walks in, interpreting neutral tones as negative, well, there's a key point there. These reactions are not logical, they're learned. So even if your environment is healthy, their nervous system is still catching up. And that means leadership has to become intentional about what we are reteaching them through daily interactions. I want to share a story with you. We talk a lot about staff call outs, but I want to talk about the phone call that never got heard. I want to share this story, and I wish I could say I'm making it up, but I'm going to take my time with it here because this is where leadership impact becomes very real. There's a director that I know who was working in a childcare center who was pregnant, very, very pregnant, like close to her due date. Not like weeks away, not like soon, like any day now, right? She was in the final stages where anything could happen at any time. And on Friday, when she was at work, her water broke. She was not immediately in full active labor, but she did know something was going on. And she communicated. She left work at the end of her shift and she began to what turned into be active labor throughout the weekend. She left her boss a message on the cell phone, and she texted the boss multiple messages. Saturday evening turned into Sunday, full active labor going on. She ended up giving birth to her baby on Monday. While she was in the hospital through the entire weekend with getting ready to give birth, her phone rings. Now, obviously, she wasn't able to answer because she was having a baby. She communicated. She sent the texts to her boss explaining what was happening. She left the voicemails, updating her on the situation. She made it clear that she was in the hospital and was going to give birth at any time. So, like I said, Monday morning came. She was still in the hospital. Baby was born around 12 o'clock. Physically exhausted, emotionally overwhelmed, caring for a newborn, she just received a message from her boss. Why are you not at work? All the critical detail is here. The voicemails had not been listened to over the weekend. Now, I want to slow this down for a moment, because this is where leadership either builds trust or breaks it without realizing it. Let's be honest. This is not a scheduling issue, not a missed shift. This is a breakdown in leadership processing. Because before any response was sent, there was no pause to ask, have I actually heard all the information? Have I checked to see what was, going on? Do I understand what's happening right now? Instead, there was just a response that came from assumption. And that assumption created a moment for that employee, one that won't ever be forgotten. Because when someone is actively giving birth and still feels obligated to explain themselves for not being at work, that's not a communication issue, honey. That's a leadership environment issue. And there's something else I want to say here. I want to say this. If you know that somebody is ready to give birth at any moment, this is a teacher who was opening, by the way. She was an opening teacher, her and one other employee. She could have went into active labor at any point of the day. So it happened her water broke on Friday. What if she was at work Monday morning and went into labor while she was at work? And this is not a scheduling issue. It's not like a cold that just came on. This is an employee who was ready to give birth. No, she was not called out by her doctor, right? That's fair. But I probably wouldn't have her be my opener as just the second person. I possibly would have went in myself and maybe had her work a shorter shift, or I would have made sure that she and I were not in that position. I certainly wouldn't have put my center at a dangerous situation where if that employee had a medical emergency, was her and another employee with a group of children. So anyway, so that's my thoughts about that. You guys let me know in the text to show What else was that employee supposed to do besides give birth to her child on the weekend? Getting a call on Monday as though the boss was surprised as as to this birth is crazy to me. Now, this is a leadership lesson that most people miss. And I want to be fair here. This isn't about blaming one person as good or bad. It's really not. But in leadership, we all have that moment where we maybe move too fast. We have all the moments where we react before we fully understand. But the difference between average leadership and strong leadership is this: strong leadership slows down before responding, and when the context is unclear, because urgency without understanding creates harm, even unintentionally. So is the real leadership question is what? It's not whose fault is it. The real question is what systems or habits caused this response to happen before full information was received. Okay, I get it. I own a school. I don't listen to my cell phone on the weekends. To be quite honest, I wish I never had a cell phone at all. But knowing perhaps that I have an opener who's about 4 minutes ready to give birth, I probably would have planned that differently. And I certainly would have checked my phone. And then the next thing I would have done would not have been, where are you? Why are you not at work? It would have been, are you okay? I mean, I think that's where the empathy lies. And this is why we have teachers or directors who are leaving programs with post-traumatic stress disorder. For real. So what actually how helps your team recover? Because I work with that person. Yes, I do. That person is a great director. Now, I'm not going to put her name out there, but I will just say that it is a moment in her career that she has never forgotten. Take a sip of tea here. It's a moment she's never forgotten. And sometimes it's one that we'll joke about when I mess up. And I'll be like, oh man, I'm sorry, wasn't a really good boss today. Sorry I let such and such, slip, or oh man, I really missed that mark. And sometimes she'll make a joke and say, well, at least you didn't make me come to work while giving birth. So, she's gotten over it in some type of way, but there is still, still some stress in it. And it took a while for her to recover from that. So all right. What actually helps your team recover? Let's talk about that. So let's move on from that reflection into real solutions, because recovery is not abstract, it's behavioral. Here's what actually builds trust back into your team. One, slow your response reflex. Do not respond to emotional or urgent situations until you have confirmed all the information. Check the messages, listen to voicemails, pause before reacting, because your first response sets the emotional tone for everything else that's going to follow. And separate urgency from interpretation. Not every urgent situation is a crisis. A missed shift, that's operational. A medical emergency, that's human. Your response must match reality, not inception. Now, build coverage that is really going to make sure your system works. If your staffing model only works when no one gets sick, no one is pregnant, no one is injured, no one is overwhelmed, well, you don't have a strong system. So you have to build in backup coverage. You have to build in float support. You have to build in emergency communication trees. That would have solved the problem. If the owner was not able to get phone calls over the weekend, who could have been the next person for her to call? And I don't think it's really up for the girl giving birth to find all of her own coverage. Maybe there is a place, a communication place, where you can put information or have a second person in command that absolutely is obligated to check the messages on the weekend. And of course, you will pay them for that. Or maybe it's a voice, a virtual assistant. Maybe it's an answering company. There's 1,000 solutions to this problem, but make sure you have it. And realistic staffing expectations. Expecting a girl who's ready to have a baby any minute should not be your opener. That's all I'm going to say. I don't even want to talk about the liability that owner opened herself up for all the way around. Rebuild trust through communication and communication tone. Staff don't just remember what you say. They remember how you sound when they are vulnerable. Am I calm or am I urgent? Am I asking or am I accusing? Am I listening or am I reacting? Your tone is the leadership. And create consistent emotional safety. Consistency builds trust faster than insanity. Staff stop bracing for leadership when it becomes predictable, not perfect. Again, this show is not about being perfect, but it is about being predictable. It is about leading with clarity and calmness. Now, the bigger truth is most educators don't leave again because of the children. They don't leave because of the families, and they don't leave because of the pay. They leave because of moments like this. Moments where they felt unheard, where they felt blamed before being understood, and they felt unsupported in a crisis, and they felt emotionally unsafe. I do want to mention this was that director's first child. This should have been a beautiful, wonderful experience that her workplace family, I know people are like, oh, it's not a family. Listen, maybe at your program it's not. For me, it's a workplace family. We spend 9 hours together a day. Some of us more than that. We go to each other's birthday parties. We celebrate milestones, and having a baby would certainly be one of those milestones that we would be celebrating. It's those moments that really create stories that are either positive or negative. I can't tell you how many staff help raise my children. So many. And I can tell you my children still at 27, 28 years old love their providers. All right, so I'm going to leave you with this question today. Ask yourself, am I creating a workplace where people feel heard before they feel judged? Because recovery does not happen through intention. It happens through repetition. And every response you give either builds trust or quietly breaks it down. So this week, pause before responding to urgent messages. Listen fully before reacting. And review one system where staffing pressure can be reduced. Small shifts. That's all. Small shifts, real impact. So thanks for being part of the conversation today. And we'll see you next time on the Child Care Director Share podcast. Before we completely wrap up, I want to say, if you're attending the Early Education Empowerment Conference this week, I'll see you there. So come say hello at my booth. Come connect with me. We're going to share a few hugs. Be a part of the conversation happening in real time around leadership, around culture, and early childhood education. And stay tuned because we will be sharing a special episode featuring live recordings from the event the rest of the week. So we hope that you have a great day and let's do better.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Child Care Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sacosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.